This program is brought to you in part by SalCal Real Estate Connections. Yes, welcome to the 2023 Connecticut Dragway Reunion and Car Show.
And yes, we're at the Connecticut Dragway Reunion, number 32, with Pete Bozo. And Pete, you know a little bit about this thing, huh?
Yeah, well, I originated the show back in 1992 to let the general public of Connecticut know what drag racing was, since the drag strip closed in '85, and what car culture was in the state of Connecticut back in that time period.
It was a special time, wasn't it?
That's correct, when we were young and foolish.
Yeah. I can remember a croon for Al Riccio with the world's fastest 409.
That's correct, yeah. Big Al Riccio, and he raced Connecticut Dragway quite a bit and then other places and moved on.
Yeah. Now tell me something. This is the first time you've been at the Berlin Fairgrounds here, right?
Right. We started in other places and kept outgrowing them. We started the first year in '92 with 197 cars, and our record has been 771 cars.
Oh, wow.
So we're here now and see if we could outgrow this.
Now tell me, this car behind us is yours, I believe, right? What is it?
This is a 1931 Ford Model A Coupe that I built myself back in '85. I finished it and been driving it for 37 years. It did not race a Connecticut Dragway, but I wish I raced a car similar to this in a club that I belong to, a Connecticut Dragway, called the Radical Valve Timers Hot Rod Club. And we had a red Model A Coupe we ran in D-altered class.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I remember those days like they were yesterday.
Yep. And remember in the beginning when Frank Murata started Connecticut Dragway, there was an organization called the Nutmeg State Timing Association, which was the governing body of drag racing in Connecticut. And I remember going and volunteering and working at the drag strip in '61 and '62. That was part of our obligation.
Yeah, well, I belong to a hot rod club in Berlin here called the Mid-State Modifiers.
That's correct. I have one of your original plaques at home in a collection.
I don't doubt it. I'm sure you remember Hartson Weber, right?
Yep.
The president of the club.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. They were good days, I'll tell you.
Right.
Well, I don't want to tie you up. I know you're a busy guy, and I want to talk to some more people from your organization.
Okay.
But we're going to start talking to some of these car owners. And thank you. And I hope you do this, Pete, until we're 100.
Well, I do too. I'm 80 now, so I got 20 more years left.
That's all right. You're young.
Thanks for everything.
All right. And yes, we have Tom and Sarah Lambert here at the Dragway Reunion. Now tell me, Tom, you're an officer in the club.
I am. I'm the treasurer of the club, and I'm also the building chairman. I take care of the building inside as well.
Now, this is number 32, huh?
For our club?
No, the event.
Oh, the event. Yes, it is. We've been a club for almost 60 years now. Yeah. And I've been in the club five years, but I've been into street rodding since I was about 18 years old, which was, 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah, we'd like to have them years back.
Yeah, we sure would.
And yes, how about Sarah? How you been involved with this?
Well, I'm involved because I support my husband in his great hobby.
Well, behind every man there's a good woman. You know that.
I do.
Now tell me, this event looks like the biggest event you probably ever had.
We have a swap meet in May at Rensselaer Field that we just had this year, where we bring in 500-600 vendors, and it's always the first Sunday in May. And this event, it's the first year that we've had it here in Berlin, and it seems to be working out well. And this is always the Monday after Father's Day.
Yeah, we are. I am a Lion member, and you know this place here is special. Believe me.
Oh, it's a beautiful place, and we're happy that we were able to come here this year.
How many people you have in your club?
We have, I believe there's 73 members. There's 70 members, and we have three or four what we call next gen. They're coming up in the ranks.
Wow. Hey, the collector car world is alive and well.
It is. I have a 1940 Ford coupe, and because I had to do some work here, unfortunately I wasn't able to bring it, but I wish it was here now.
Don't worry, it'll get here at some point.
It will. It will.
How about you, Sarah? You drive a hot rod too?
Oh, occasionally. I absolutely love the hobby, though. There's so much nostalgia to it, and that's what I really love about it.
People are special, you know?
They are. The people are very special, and we all have a common interest.
Yeah,
So
that's right. Let me tell you, I wish I was 16 again, though.
I think we all do.
Okay.
So do we.
Yeah. All right, Tom, I don't want to tie you up. I know you're busy. Thank you for the interview.
Well, thank
and
you.
We'll be talking.
Very good.
Take care,
Thank you
Sarah.
for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you. And yes, we have a long time hot rodder, Augie Reel. I haven't seen you in maybe 30 years, doggy. Huh?
It's been a while. It's been a while.
Tell me, how many cars you built?
I probably built 30 vehicles like this in my lifetime. This one here took me 5.5 years, and it's probably my last one.
This is very unique, huh?
Yeah, the engine is a 1939 Chrysler Imperial, straight 8, and it's the only one in the country with an automatic transmission. It took me 3 years to find a person to make the adapter for it, right?
Oh, wow.
It's a 1981 Dodge Dakota automatic overdrive lockup converter.
Wow. I am impressed because I know that's not easy to do. Now, the body, what is the body?
It's a 1946 Dodge, right, pickup truck, which I shortened the bed. I took 4 feet off the bed, and I built this entire vehicle. I didn't do the body work and the paint because I'm not talented in that direction, but I manufactured every single piece of this car, the chassis included, right?
Yeah, I could tell it. I could tell, boy, the steering box there and everything. You did some heavy work on this car.
Yes, 5.5 years I worked almost every single day. Not 8 hours, but sometimes 15, 20 minutes, maybe an hour, sometimes 3, sometimes all day. But it's 5.5 years every single day except holidays.
Wow, I'm impressed. Now, Augie, if memory serves me correct, you also raced in Waterford Speedway.
Yes, I did.
Huh?
Yes, I did.
I got a good memory, don't I?
Yes, you do. Yes. That was my Hudson.
Yeah.
That was the Hudson 6, right? Yeah. And that one there was, the third year we raced, they had a special race, the top 5 modifieds and the top 5 bombers, right?
Yeah.
Billy Simons won the modified division with his 6-cylinder Chrysler, and Augie came in second with his Hudson 6.
Yeah.
Ahead of all the modifieds.
I remember the excavator special, the Simons,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, Billy Simons, yep. Yep.
I got a good memory, buddy.
Oh, yeah. Well, I wish mine was as good.
Yeah. And you remember Al Riccio, right?
Oh, yeah. I drove for him.
Yeah. The dragster.
Yep.
World's fastest 409 in the beginning.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Yes, definitely. And very unusual, too.
Oh, yes. Very unusual. I could remember being at Lebanon Valley looking in the bushes for the bent push rods so we could straighten them on the concrete to make the final.
Yep, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. And one odd thing about that 409 is the combustion chambers used to collapse. And I can't remember what cylinder. There was 2 cylinders on each head that the combustion chambers would collapse. And Al didn't know what the hell to do. And I said, well, I'll tell you what to do, right? What I did on my Hudson, I had the same problems with blowing head gaskets, right? So what I did was I drilled a hole in the head, threaded a piece of threaded rod down until it hit the combustion chamber on the bottom and Loctited it in place and cut it off, right? So that's what we did with the 409 combustion chambers. We drilled a hole in them, ran a piece of threaded rod through, because he had special cast iron studs made, right?
Oh, yeah. They were not easy motors, let me tell you.
No. There was a lot of innovation on that engine.
You got that right.
The manifold and so forth and so. The manifold, I think, was originally a dual quad, which we machined the top off, right, and it had a steel, an aluminum plate welded too, right?
Yeah.
Yep. And I drove the car for about. I didn't drive the Roadster. I drove the Dragster. Joe Simone flipped the thing over, right?
I was there.
And he was scared to death, right? So once they got the car straightened out, once we got it straightened out, I drove it for the next 2 months, right?
Yep.
And I went 202 plus something. That's the fastest I ever went.
Well, I want to congratulate you because 200 miles an hour back then, that was a big deal.
Oh yes, it was. Yes,
You know?
it was.
Well, Augie, I don't want to tie you up. I know you got a lot of people here that you want to talk to, but I want to thank you. And I hope we do this, Augie, till we're 100 years old.
Well, I'm 87. Maybe we will. I don't
Okay.
know.
All right. Thank you, buddy. And yes, we came across a beautiful red gasser with Vinny Cocchiero. And Vinny, you know a little bit about this car, huh?
A little bit. I own it. It's a 1948 Anglia, which is an English Ford, and I race it with the East Coast Gasser Club. We're based out of Connecticut, basically, and it's got a small block Chevrolet for power with a Power Glide transmission. The fastest I've gone is 10.15 seconds at 131 miles an hour.
Now, do you presently race it?
Yes. We race from Delaware to New Hampshire. Yeah.
Now, are they nostalgia events
Yes.
or
Pretty much nostalgia events. Yes.
I could remember in the day, gassers were king.
Oh yes. Yeah, that's for sure, and that's what we're trying to keep the status of the car, going. So.
Now, where are you from, Vinny?
I'm from Wallingford, Connecticut.
Close by.
Yes, I am. Yeah.
I am just at awe the amount of people here today.
It's a great show. I'm glad to see the industry is still going.
I always say the collector car world is alive and well.
It certainly is, and I've been a car fan since I've been this tall, and I'm going to do it till the day I die.
Once that racing gets in your blood, let me tell you, it never leaves.
It's hard. I tried to get out, but I couldn't. I had to get back to it.
Now tell me, what's your favorite drag strip?
Right now, it's Beaver Springs, Pennsylvania. I love that track. The owner, Mike, the greatest guy in the world. And he'll help you out any way he can, and it's just a great time when you go down there.
Yeah, we've been down there, and I miss drag race, and I did it in the in the 90s, late 90s, but I stopped. We had a Mustang. You'll laugh. I used to tow it with a Ford Lightning pickup. My wife used to make me disconnect the truck and race the truck. How's that?
Well, I've seen that a lot. Yeah.
That's how crazy it gets, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
That's all good. I'll tell you.
Yeah, back when the Connecticut Dragway was open, we had a race day for all our tow vehicles. We just used to take our tow vehicles and race them, just for fun.
I can remember, Al Oaks and what do you call Mike or Kasavage? What was his name?
Dennis Kasavage.
I remember. And Bobby Lewis. They had a war with Pro Stock, them three guys.
Yes, they did. Yep. Early days of Pro Stock.
That was the fun day.
Yes, it was. Yep. I used to race a Seagas Corvette way back then. Yeah. So yeah, those are the good old years.
My wife made me laugh. She was going through the pictures in the building and saw her old car, which I used to sneak away and race, her Chevelle.
Well, you got to do it some way.
You get caught one way or the other, right?
Yep.
Well, buddy, I want to thank you for your interview. You were excellent.
Okay, thank
and
you.
I hope I get to see a race.
I hope so, too.
Thank you, Vinny. You were great.
Thank you.
And yes, we came across a beautiful B-Gas Willies, one of my favorite cars. And Fuzzy, I bet you know a little bit about this car.
Well, we got this maybe 20 years ago. We got it out of way the hell out west, Arizona, and it had no rod on it, and so we trucked it, and I traded a '64 Corvette Roadster automatic for this, and it had no interior, no paint, nothing. It was a mess. And we took and changed the whole drivetrain, everything. So it took me a long time putting it together. I've owned it now maybe 20 years, 19 years.
It looks just like in the day.
Well, I copied it. I wanted everything to be period correct. So everything on this car is from the 60s. Everything.
I bet
The
you
motor,
remember.
everything. You won't find any bill.
I bet you remember Stone Cooking Woods, huh?
Absolutely. All of them.
They were my guys.
Hey,
tell you.
I have all the books. I studied this stuff like you can't believe.
Yeah.
Everything on here, right down to the carburetor linkage, came off a 57 Chevy. Wow. The clutch pedals, they're out of a 55, 6, or 7. Everything. It's all mechanical linkage. Even the scatter shield, everything is like period correct.
Yeah. Well, in the day, a good friend of mine, Al Riccio, I don't know if you knew him, they had a 4-door Willies. Ran in B-gas, too. Same thing.
Yep. Well, we used to go to the track with Al DeAngelis, and he used to run a Connecticut drag strip. And he took the most money out of the track when he raced up there. They used to hate to see him come. And Al raced my car down at Lebanon Valley. And so he's down in South Carolina now, but Al had a very fast B-gas Willies. And he did all his own work, everything. What a car.
In the day, gassers were king.
Oh, they were unbelievable. We used to go to the track every weekend. Couldn't stay away from it.
It was like a disease.
Yeah, it was.
They had me in the trunk half the time.
We did, too. That's wild. Oh, my God.
I can't believe that's Frank Murata's car.
This is Frank's car, and he found this car, and he did a lot of looking. This was left outside for many years. This guy got it and put it back together the way it is now. But he doesn't want to paint it because it'll ruin it because it's nostalgia.
Yeah, nostalgia. Yeah.
What a beautiful job he did.
He did. Well, I have to thank you, Fuzzy, for talking with you, number one.
And we're going to see you up at Lebanon Valley.
You got that right.
Dover Drag Strip reunion.
You never know.
Bring your bride.
You never know.
Right? You'll see us up there. We'll find you.
Yeah, she don't miss many races, let me tell you.
You're lucky.
Yeah.
You're lucky. We're all lucky. If we got a wife that'll go with you, you're lucky.
We got it. Okay, buddy. Thank you. Okay, we got Jim Messioni with this beautiful 64 Ford that looks like it just could go right down to the drag strip and be right at home. Right, Jim?
Yep, you're right at that. Yep.
So you nostalgia race this thing?
We do. We run at Lebanon Valley, and we run at Beaver Springs, Pennsylvania.
Now, is there a lot of nostalgia events or no?
Yeah, there's plenty of them across the country, many in the Midwest, but we run Beaver Springs in September, a race called the FE Race and Reunion. So we get just FE cars there.
And do you ever go up to Epping or no?
I've not been to Epping, no.
Never been there, huh?
No.
Yeah, we used to go there, and once racing gets in your blood, let me tell you, it don't leave.
Yeah, I think you're right about that.
It stays with you. And where are you from, Jim?
I'm from Waterford, Connecticut. I grew up in New London, Connecticut, and the car is lettered up from the days when we purchased our first car at a place called Niantic Ford, which was in East Lyme, Connecticut, Niantic Four Corners.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's just like being a kid again, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Car is all hand painted by a gentleman out in Ohio, Wauseon, Ohio, a guy named Todd Hansen, and everything is hand painted.
Yeah. I'll tell you, that's why it caught my eye instantly. It was just like in the day.
Yeah, he did a great job. He has an idea of how to do this stuff, and we just kind of let him run with what he thought would be right.
Now tell me, you have more than this car? You got other cars?
I do have other cars, yeah.
The Z's, I call it.
Yeah, I've got a Max Wedge Plymouth, a 64. I have a 69 Ford Cobra. I have a 67 sedan race car, Fairlane, with a cheap trim, called the cheap trim Fairlane. And I have a Chevy 2 also.
Oh, yeah, well, you got both, huh?
Yeah, I like all the brands, all the brands.
As long as they go fast, you don't care, right?
Yeah, that's right. They're great cars, and cars of the 60s are the ones that I really like the best.
It just, when I see a car like this, it just brings me right back to when I was a kid, I'll tell you.
Yep.
And that's what's keeping this thing alive. I could not believe that that's Frank Murata's old car. Oh my God.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
Isn't it? Oh my
Yeah,
dear.
yeah, yeah.
You must have locked some time over there, I bet, huh?
Connecticut Dragway.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a relative who was a photographer for Drag News when I was young, and he used to take me with him when I was 10 or 11 years old, and I could follow him around while he was taking pictures of the cars, and then of course they got published in weekly in Drag News newspaper. Yep.
Yeah.
So that got me going on it.
I'll tell you, I'm glad you're still in it, and you never know. I may reappear at that Beaver Springs.
Well, it's the week after Labor Day every year, and it's all FEs from really all over the country, mostly from many from the Midwest, the Northeast and Southeast, but they come from everywhere. Yeah. It's a great race, dedicated to FE cars only.
Oh Christ, Tasker Ford, boy, I'll tell you. You know, when I used to go to, they're in Berlin now.
Yes.
And when I see Bob, the kid, I see it's just like old days again, you know.
They've signed the underside of the hood. Yeah.
He's a nice kid.
Yeah.
And he does okay.
Yeah, he's pretty fast.
Let me tell you, to get into one of them things, boy, you got to have some hair on you.
He's very fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We hear you. Well, I don't want to tie you up.
No problem.
I want to tell you something, Jim. You got a beautiful car,
Yeah.
and I got a feeling you're going to have a good time with this car.
I appreciate the
Thank you.
doing the interview, and look forward to seeing it on TV.
You got it.
Right. Thanks
Okay.
very much.
Thank you.
Yes, Jim's car brought me back to the super stock wars in the 1960s. And boy, let me tell you, it is a great example of a race car with hand-painted lettering and running a 427 side oiler, too. Let me tell you, this car was gorgeous, really caught my attention. And I have to really give him a lot of credit to bring this car back to what it should be. And boy, just look at that motor. Absolutely gorgeous. And I have to say, this nostalgia racing is alive and well.
They were going crazy.
That thing was as fat as my arm.
I see. That's a big dude. Well, you want to hear a good one? Here, I'll give you a good one. We're the split. We're the split to go to Lime Rock. Route 7 and then,
That's right.
you know the split?
Yes, I do.
Well, a lot of people park their cars there for the Appalachian Trail. There's a spot where you can jump the Appalachian Trail there.
Boy, I'll tell you, I could not believe Frank Murata's original A-Gas Model A. I mean, talk about a part of history. Could you ever believe you would ever see this car again? That he raced in the early years, and of course, his famed conversion in Connecticut to get a dragway here was just an absolutely wonderful feat, and I have to give him a lot of credit. And boy, let me tell you, he was just somebody special. And yes, as we come to the conclusion of the show today, I want to thank everybody for viewing and hope we get back here every year, as this event turned out to be a fantastic thing. And of course, bringing back the memory of Connecticut Dragway was very special today. I really want to thank everybody who brought a car here. I just can't wait to do this again next year. Thank you. brought to you in part by Just Results Weight Loss Center. And yes, we want to thank Carol Mangello for all the great work she did recording this show. Just an absolute wonderful job. Thank you.
The Saybrook Fish House in Canton has been serving fresh seafood, chicken, and steak entrees for 34 years, offering 3 cozy dining room settings, a newly renovated pub with craft beer, wine by the glass, specialty cocktails, and a lighter fare menu. Open for lunch and dinner 7 days a week. Reservations accepted for parties of 2 to 42, and gift certificates are also available. The Saybrook Fish House, nestled at the crossroads of Route 44, 202, and 179 in Canton.
I'm your host, Kurt Barwis. Today, I have a very special guest, Dr. Andrew Lin.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Veterans Corner. My name's Chuck Wooden.
Decision for ourselves for this week, if we want to be made well.
Hi, welcome to the Crack of Dawn. It's Dawn Lombardi. I'm starting the painting. It's going to be the clips with some water. Love it.
He took me on the sets of Lost in Space, Batman.
Everybody has a story. What's yours? Until next time.